Have you ever looked at a solar panel and wondered how it turns sunlight into electricity? It almost feels like magic. A flat, dark panel sits quietly on a roof. Sunlight falls on it, and somehow it powers lights, fans, phones, homes, and even large buildings. But how does this actually happen? How can sunlight become electricity? And why do solar panels work better on sunny days? Today, we are going to explore the simple science behind solar panels. And once you understand it, you will never look at sunlight the same way again. Before we begin, if you enjoyed discovering the hidden science behind everyday things, be sure to subscribe to Secret Behind Things and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. Now, let's find out how solar panels generate power. The first thing to understand is this: solar panels do not store sunlight. They convert sunlight into electricity. This happens because of something called the photovoltaic effect. It sounds complicated, but the idea is actually simple. Photo means light, and voltaic means electricity. So photovoltaic simply means making electricity from light. A solar panel is made of many smaller parts called solar cells. These cells are usually made from silicon. Silicon is a special material because it can react to sunlight in a useful way. When sunlight hits a solar cell, tiny particles of light, called photons, enter the material. These photons carry energy. When they hit the silicon, they can knock tiny particles called electrons loose. And these moving electrons are the beginning of electricity. But loose electrons alone are not enough. They need to move in one direction. That is what creates an electric current. Inside a solar cell, there is a built-in electric field. You can think of it like an invisible path that pushes the electrons in the right direction. So when sunlight hits the cell, electrons are knocked loose. The electric field pushes them, and they start moving through wires. That movement of electrons is electricity. This is the basic secret behind solar power. Sunlight hits the panel. The panel releases electrons. The electrons move through a circuit, and that movement becomes electric power. But there is one more important detail. The electricity made by solar panels is usually direct current, or DC electricity. DC electricity flows in one direction. This is similar to the electricity that comes from batteries. But most homes use a different type of electricity called alternating current, or AC electricity. AC electricity changes direction many times per second. This is the type of power used by most appliances in your home. So how does solar power become useful for a house? That is where an inverter comes in. The inverter takes the DC electricity from the solar panels and converts it into AC electricity. After that, the power can run your lights, fans, refrigerator, television, and other devices. So the full process looks like this. Sunlight hits the solar panels. The panels create DC electricity. The inverter changes it into AC electricity. And then your home can use it. Simple, but very powerful. Now, you might wonder why solar panels are usually placed on rooftops. The reason is sunlight. A roof often receives more direct sunlight than the ground. There are fewer shadows, and there is usually more open space. The more sunlight a panel receives, the more electricity it can produce. That is why solar panels work best during clear sunny days. But this does not mean they stop working when it is cloudy. Solar panels can still generate electricity on cloudy days, but they usually produce less power because less sunlight reaches the cells. Shade is also important. Even a small shadow from a tree, wall, or nearby building can reduce the power output of a solar panel. That is why solar panels must be installed in the right direction and at the right angle. The goal is to capture as much sunlight as possible during the day. In many places, solar panels are tilted toward the sun's path. This helps them receive stronger sunlight for more hours. Another interesting question is this: do solar panels work because of heat? Many people think hotter sunlight means more electricity, but that is not exactly true. Solar panels generate power from light, not heat. In fact, very high heat can sometimes reduce the efficiency of solar panels. A cool, sunny day can often be better for solar power than an extremely hot day, because the panel gets strong light without getting too hot. Now, what happens when solar panels make more electricity than a home needs? There are usually two options. The extra power can go into batteries. or it can go back to the electric grid, depending on the system. Batteries store extra solar energy so it can be used later. For example, at night, or during a power outage, or when the weather is cloudy. Without batteries, a solar system may still work during the day, but at night, it needs power from the grid unless there is stored energy available. This is why many people use solar panels with batteries. It gives them more control over their electricity. Solar power is becoming popular around the world because sunlight is free. Once the system is installed, the panels can keep producing power for many years. They do not need fuel like coal, gas, or oil. They do not make smoke while generating electricity, and they use a natural source of energy that arrives every single day. But solar panels are not perfect. They depend on sunlight. They produce less power at night. They can be affected by weather, dust, shade, and installation angle. Still, the basic technology is one of the most important energy ideas of the modern world. Think about it. The sun is millions of miles away. Its light travels through space. It reaches Earth. It hits a small panel on a rooftop. And within seconds, that light can become electricity inside a home. That is incredible. So the next time you see solar panels on a roof, remember what is happening. They are not just sitting there. They are quietly catching sunlight, freeing tiny electrons, and turning light into usable power. It is not magic. It is science, and it is one of the cleanest ways humans have learned to use energy from nature. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to Secret Behind Things for more fascinating stories and explanations behind the everyday things we often take for granted.